Hey, Photo Fam. I have had so many questions about, okay, because the Black Friday sale for Greater Than Gatsby is so great that I've had so many people ask, what are my favorite Greater Than Gatsby actions? And so I thought it would just be easier to make a video so that I can just link you guys to it. And that's just so much easier. So, these are my actions that I have. Pretty much I have every Greater Than Gatsby action ever created. Presets, I don't really use presets. Presets are used in Lightroom. And what I prefer to do my very basic edits in Lightroom, export, bring them into Photoshop, and do my edits in Photoshop. So I use actions. Think of it this way. Actions are for Photoshop, presets are for Lightroom. So I use the actions. And if you've watched any of my editing videos, you kind of have a general idea of what I'm going to say, but they released a new action set called Tiny Dancer. And you know what? Let me just bring it up and I'll show you. Okay. These are the new actions, these Tiny Dancer actions. That's what this picture is. And they're amazing. So the Tiny Dancer actions are the newest ones. Awesome, awesome, awesome. There are actually several actions from that I use now that I've kind of incorporated into my workflow, and they are amazing. The ones that I use every single time are going to be the Painterly Portrait actions. Now, I'm going to show you them in a minute, but I use the Painterly Portrait actions every single time. I use Painterly 1. I'm going to show you. I use Painterly 1 for my basic edits, which is this one. Painterly 2 I use when I want that painterly look, that, pretty kind of almost artistic and fuzzy look that's so popular. I use Portrait 2 to achieve that look. Now, $59, I think it's worth it for sure. For sure. I have gone through all of them to find, you guys, if you followed me or watched any of my videos, I use Campbell Soup cans and Leonardo on almost every image. And those are the two main ones I use in Portrait 1. I had someone message me and say, well, I'm just going to go ahead and get one because it's only a $14 difference. To me, it's worth it. Now, if you're on a budget, maybe not. I don't know. I'm not trying to spend your money, but those are the two main ones that I use. They have a ton of editing videos too. So like if you scroll down here, they have editing videos too. And I do, as I'm sure you've seen on my YouTube, and you're here right now, so obviously. The second one that I use most is the Retouch collection. This is where I use a lot of my eyes. There are several actions in here that I also use, such as Sun In Lightener, and there's a few at the bottom, finishing touches, that I use, but also it includes my eyelashes that I use all the time. It's actually a brush that you incorporate into your picture, and that's one that I also use all the time. Joy of Light, I use the silky smooth one at the bottom, and then I also use a movable light one in the Joy of Light actions. A lot of them I also use when I do outdoor images. The rest of them, I kind of use a little bit the Innocence. I do use Innocence whenever I do outdoor pictures, I will say. So outside pictures, I do use several from the Innocence collection. So I'm going to show you. As far as Portrait Retouch collection, there are two, as far as the Painterly Portrait collection, there are two actions that I use one action I use on every single image that I take, which is Campbell Soup cans. Whenever I do, this would be a studio light. This would be indoors with my lights. So this is indoors with my lights. This is indoor with my lights. This one's indoor with lights, same light setup. This one's indoor with light setup. This is literally the exact light setup. So this and this were shot here. So this is a backdrop and a floor drop from Babydream taped down. We've got two strip lights, edge lights. Now, these are a little bit higher because I was shooting the jumping shots like this. I do lower them whenever I do the full body and the headshots of the kids. Now, for adults, it's probably about that high like these. And then I have a beauty dish angled at a 45-degree, pointed slightly down to the subject right here. And then I use an eye lighter, which is, you can see when I zoom in, that's what brings in this nice, pretty light in the eyes right here. So that's a setup for that. These are literally, when I say literally, the only thing that I have used for these pictures right here are Campbell soup cans and Leonardo, and that's it. Those are the only two actions I ever use on any of my studio light images. Like this one, I don't even think I use Leonardo. I think it's just Campbell soup cans, and that's done. Like literally it's done. I did some facial retouching a little bit. These are for our local VOTEC school that I do, and I love them. They're so much fun. And literally all I do is just blemish retouching and Campbell soup cans, and that is seriously it. And portraiture from this plugin, Imaginomic. And they would probably have a sale going on right now too, if you're interested in that. So Campbell soup cans, Leonardo, that's what all of my in studio with lights I use. Those are the two actions. So that's Painterly Portrait. When I'm going to do a dress session, now this is straight out of camera. When I'm going to do a dress session, and I'm going to do the Painterly look, I bring in Painterly Portrait 2. Now, you can get those two as a bundle. The ones that I use most, let me bring up, no, that's not that. That's from a different one. Here we go. So I'll bring up the finished, let's bring up this one, because this is before and this is after. So I would be using, for this, I would have used so many actions out of Painterly Portrait 2. I would have used Turner, which is what gives it that painterly look, and then I paint it off of the face and the hands and the details on the dress. And then I will usually come down and do Cubism and finishing tools. Another one of my actions that I absolutely love, let me find the one. So from this, another one that I love in Painterly 2, besides the, Painterly actions, are the pick a color vignette. I'm actually going to pull up this one image of Carson, one of my seniors this year. Where's she at? She should be right here. Here it is. I'm going to bring up this image. Let's do an unretouched one so that you can see. So this is going to be, that's unretouched of Carson. And so one of my favorite actions in this Painterly 2, other than the Painterly, pictures, actually, let me just show you. So for these, literally, they all get Campbell soup cans. I'm going to play that for you. That's it. If you have shot it too warm, all you have to do is open up this action set and just take off the the highlights. And you can see that it just makes that pretty little bump. So then I'm going to go back into Painterly 2 to show you this vignette. So I don't do a whole lot of vignetting, but I will say whenever I like to incorporate a little bit more whatever they're wearing. So like say if they have a dress on or something and I just want to kind of tie it into the background a little bit better, I'll use this pick a color vignette. I'm going to flatten this real quick because I'm going to show you. Okay, so what I want is, I chose this backdrop because of her little outfit. Her little romper was basically this exact color. So when you choose pick a color vignette, you're going to hit play and it's going to tell you to pick a color. And so, but what's cool is that you can preview it. See? So maybe I want a little bit darker or more of a lighter, but I think I'm going to go with a little bit of a darker. Okay. And then I'm going to hit okay. And it's going to remove it from the center of your image. So you can technically go back in and you can take it off of her skin. And you'll see it's just real subtle, but it ties her little romper in so well. So pretty. And that's just a fun little additive that's in here. There are also some other ones in here too, which I'm going to go back. The other one that I use, where's it at? Here we go. So they have a lot of finishing brushes that are in this collection, Painterly 2, that I absolutely love. I will use the Fill Shadows brush sometimes. I'll also use the Dreamy Blur brush sometimes for distractions. The Blur Distractions brush, sorry, not Dreamy Blur. And then the other one that I love and I use quite a bit, and I'm sure you've seen it, is the Light Leak brush. And this is Painterly 2. And you've seen me do this, I'm sure. This is going to click here in just a minute. And you just hit OK. And it's going to tell you to choose what color you want the light leak to be. I always choose a color of the face. And that sounds wild, but it just, I feel like, sort of ties it in. And then you can kind of pull it down a little bit. And you can just make it where it just extends, you know, that light leak into the image and just makes it look a little bit more real. Then you can also, if you don't like that, you can also double click the color square and you can choose a different one. So like, let's say, I don't really want it to be the color of her skin. You can choose maybe a color in the background. You could even do like a blue. But it's super cool and you can change it that way. And then just hit OK. Love it. So that's one that I love too, from the Painterly 2. And then, you know, there's a whole bunch of other vignettes too, if that's your thing. And then the finishing tones I always use after the Painterly. I'll go ahead and show you what Painterly that I use most of the time is Turner. And now there are a ton of different ones, and play around because, you know, you're going to choose what works best with how you shoot. So, but I like Vermeer for the ones that are a little bit lighter and brighter that I just want to give that, you know, Painterly look to. And then there's Turner, which is a deeper, you know, prettier Painterly look. And I just love it. Now, when you put it on, it's going to do it pretty heavily. And that's okay, because then you're going to take your brush, which always, if you want to paint it away, you want it to be the opposite color of your mask. And I will always paint it off of the details of the dress and the face and the hair. And now that's up to you. If you want to do that, you can. If you don't, that's okay too. And it just gives it that beautiful Painterly look. So once I have that done, I'm going to go down here and pick Cubism. See what it looks like. Sometimes I want a little bit more warmth and I'll choose a different one like Impressionism. That's a good one. These are also great for outdoor photos too, these finishing tones in the Painterly 2. Oh, so pretty. So pretty. You can see it before and after. It just gives it that really warm, deep, beautiful color. Another thing that I love about the Painterly 1, the Leonardo and the Campbell soup cans, if you bump your ISO up just a little bit, you can always bump those shadows. And if you've gotten it a little bit dark, you can play your Leonardo and it's going to brighten it right back up. You can actually choose to kind of adjust the opacity of that layer. But then also, additionally, if you do like the way that looks, but you don't want it all over the image, you can choose the mask, Command I to invert, and then you can just paint in what you want to brighten. So like if you just wanted to like highlight these flowers and her dress and her face, you can do that too, and then you can bring it down a little bit. So you can also do it that way to kind of dodge and burn a little bit. So there's that. So that's Painterly 1 and 2, which if you watch any of my videos, you know that I use those every single time. So let's go to Tiny Dancer because I want to show you a few of these new ones. Now, this Tiny Dancer collection is absolutely amazing for outdoor images. It's awesome, awesome, awesome. And she has some great videos where she shows you how to edit those outdoor images, which is awesome. But I'm going to say that there are a few that I absolutely love and I've been using on every single image. So the first one that I use on every image out of that Tiny Dancer collection is if you go down to AI Adaptive Brushwork, there is an action that's called Illuminate Subject. Watch this. It's amazing. It's so good. It just pops your subject. And then on some of my cheer pics, I've been able to use this to work behind the image to like add in background. So it automatically just finds your subject. Now I would say it has a 97% success rate. So I would say sometimes I have to go in and tweak it just a little bit around the edges, or maybe something didn't think it was, a portion of it didn't get selected. And that's very rare. But it just gives it that beautiful pop. Oh, I love it. Then another one that I like in this AI Adaptive Brushwork is the Brilliant Background. Watch this. And it only applies it to the background. Ooh! And it just gives it that pop, that just pretty sharp, just a little bit of warmth pop. I love it. And it works so beautifully outside, so beautifully. And then also, like if you shoot outside and your sky gets overexposed, there's a Recover the Sky, which has worked really, really, really well. There's also the color cast correctors in this set are great. They're in here too. The secondary color bases are pretty good. I haven't used them a ton, but I have used them outside and they've worked really well. Another one that I like is if you go all the way down, the highlight rehab works beautifully in this set. Sometimes whenever you're shooting outside or natural light, your highlights, especially in your whites, will just get completely blown. And this does a great job of bringing them back, but not making them all like grayed out. And so that's a good one. Another one that I really, really, really love are the, where's it at? So Backstage Bokeh is a really cool one, and I'm going to actually show it to you on here. It's going to flatten an image, but it's this, I haven't really used it on indoor photos, but the outdoor photos, I love it. It just kind of gives your background a little bit of a blurred pop. I don't know. You'll see. Maybe it'll work a little bit on this one. Maybe not. Let's see. Yeah, it did. It worked okay. So if you really want your subject to pop, you can just throw this on there, and then it just really works well on outdoor images too. Another fun one that's down in this finishing effects too are these tilt shift actions. They're kind of fun. They just kind of give you a little bit of a flair, a fun little flair on them. I just love them, and they're fun to play with. I've really had fun using this collection, especially with the seniors that I've photographed this season. It's a lot of fun. So see how it just gives that kind of, it's so pretty. You can kind of bring it down a little bit too. It's so pretty. Now I will say that it did show the edge of that dress where we popped it a little bit. So you could just bring that off of that a little bit. You could actually just and just let it do its thing up there in the corner. But I love it. I love it. I love it. It's a lot of fun, especially on, let me see what other images I have up. No, these were the other ones that I was going to show you. I didn't really open up any other studio sessions. But anyway, these tilt shift ones are a lot of fun to play with. Okay, so another one that I'm going to show you guys is the Portrait Retouch. You guys know that I use this one on like every image, right? So the new Portrait Retouch collection is a little bit different than the one that I have. So I went ahead and bought that new one. So the one that they've upgraded, just so that I could be accurate in what I'm showing you guys. Because they're a little bit different than what mine are. They aren't in separate action sets, some of them, which is fine. Okay, so one thing that I use quite a bit in the Portrait Retouch are these color cast corrections. So sometimes, let's say if they have a red dress on, you're going to get some color cast. Easy to use this. And I'm going to show you a little bit of a trick. There's not a lot of red in this one, but if we hit play, what we can do is it allows you to mask off redness. So I'll just show you guys. we'll just pretend like there's a lot of red. It's not really, so it's going to be like a funky color. But so if she had red in her face, I'm going to take it off, right? Let's bring it down a little bit. Which, sometimes when they wear a red dress, you have a super bad color cast. So if you have a lot of red in the image, I'm going to show you, you can actually Command I and invert, and it's just going to apply that all over the image instead of just where you mask it off. So that's kind of helpful, especially when you're outside and you need, you know what? You need the Tiny Dancer collection because it does a really good job at getting like green casts off and putting some magenta back in your image to counteract that. It does a really good job with that. This fake tan fix, I haven't used that, but I have a feeling that's probably going to be pretty good. I'm going to flatten that. I have used this Warm the Glow. I use it quite a bit in my other one, and it just gives kind of like a really pretty little warm glow to like hair and skin if you need it. And I use that quite a bit. In the eye enhancers, I always use the All Over Eye Foundation. You guys know that. And I pop those eyes on every one of them. I haven't done it on this image, so. And then another one that I like to use is this Pop Iris Catchlight. Previous to this, it was in the eye enhancement action, and it would just bring it up. And I just like to kind of add just a little bit of that. Another thing that I really like is to darken the outer rim. So sometimes if you have like a close-up, sometimes that outer rim will get a little bit washed out. And what I also like to use this one for is just like on those eyelashes, those bottom eyelashes, to kind of bring them out a little bit. So since I'm already up close, I'm going to show you guys the eyelash brushes that come with this. So I'm going to Command J and open up a new layer. You need to load the eyelash brushes into your brush set. It's super easy to do. You just click this and then load brushes and then just add them right in there. So what you do is make sure you have a black or brown, lash done. And then you're just going to kind of move this to kind of the position of your eyes. And then use your bracket keys to make them bigger or smaller. And then right there, bam. I love these so much. I've been using these for years. They're like my favorite thing ever. And then you can bring it down. Oh, so good. So good. I love it. I'm going to take it back to show you guys. Let's just go back to the original to show you guys. Oh, love, love, love. It gives those eyes just a pop. The seniors love this. The moms love not having to put mascara on their babies when they come in for their dress sessions. It's a blast. Okay, so the other thing that I really use a lot in this Portrait Retouch collection are the hair enhancer, the Sun Enlightener. And you guys have seen me do this if you've been watching me for 5 seconds. And it literally just adds a little pop to your subject. I'll show you. Oh, love. It just makes it really look like that light is just coming in perfectly. Let me see. Silky Smooth. That's a good one. The Hair So Healthy It Shines is a really, really good one. Erase Flyaways is good. You need to have shot on a low aperture and kind of up close for that one to be able to work. And then Dodge Highlights, Burn Shadows. That's a good one. The Magic Contour is really good. I'll show you guys. Let's do medium since she has this really pretty dress on. This is also a great action if you want to kind of like enhance a dress. Oh, so pretty. As you can see, it just kind of adds like a little bit of a pop to the dress. So good. So good. And that's just a fast way to contour. Okay, so finishing touches. So these used to be named different things, and thanks to one of my watchers that told me this, because I was like, oh my gosh, what? Because I used to use Sculpted all the time. So the Sculpted is now kind of warm, kind of cool, and you'll see it kind of adds like slight bit of warmth, but then it really does an amazing job with these dresses, and you'll see what I mean here in just a second. Oh, also, I just noticed underneath that is the eyelash applicator, which I don't ever use. But so see, you can see that it just kind of pops it and gives it that warmth like that sculpted. And I mean, just gosh, I hadn't even run portraiture on it. So good. So good. And then below that, and then, you know, all these, mess around with them because there's some great actions right here and see what works best with how you shoot. The eyelash applicators right here, you know, you can use that if you want to. It's awesome. And let me think. That's really kind of it. I will say Innocence, when I'm shooting outdoors, I use Innocence a lot, too. And I use emotional color base on almost, it's kind of like my Campbell soup can for outdoor photos. And then I love Pop Rocks. It's kind of, I'll go ahead and show. I do use this one sometimes on studio shots. And it just kind of gives it like kind of a hazy look, but not. Like, see, it just kind of gives it that look. And I don't like it all the way. And I don't use it every time. Some images kind of call for it and some don't. But you can kind of brush it off and everything. And it just, sometimes it just, now, obviously on this, that's not very attractive. But it's okay. I'm just showing you what it looks like on this image. So it's a good one. What else on here? That's a good one for that. And then the Joy of Light, Light and Airy. You guys know that I use this one quite a bit. I use this Silky Soften Boost quite a bit. And then this collection, which is the Joy of Light, Light and Airy, which is a branch of the Joy and Light collection. My favorite movable light is in this. And I use this quite a bit for images that have like street lamps or things that I want to put kind of like a faux light look on, or if I want like kind of a light to come down from here. The cool thing about it is there's 3 different colors. You can use a natural, which is kind of a white, and then a warm, and then a cool, which is kind of a more white blue cool. And you can actually choose the size of it right here. And then, oh, whoops, I didn't move it. That's my fault. Sorry. You have to move it before you click out of that. So I'm going to bring it down just a little bit in size, and then we're going to move it, and I'm going to bring it kind of like, yeah, there we go. And then I'm going to bring down the opacity just a little bit. Now, my trick with this is these lights, adding these lights. I never want this, whatever light I add, to be brighter than her face ever. I always want you looking at her face. I don't want you looking at this light up here, you know? So I always bring it down, the opacity, until you look, I'm looking at her face and not this light. So that's a good one. I'm going to go ahead and run a Silky Soften Boost on this just to kind of show you. This is a bunch of random stuff I have on this image. This is just driving me bonkers, but we're just going to pretend like that's not there because my microphone that I'm using to make this video is in front of it and I missed it. So, okay, as you can see, this Silky Soften Boost and the finishing boosters in this Light and Airy, Joy of Light, Light and Airy, is just so good. I mean, I would say even like if you like that painterly look, but you don't like it super, like very strong, I would say you could use this Silky Soften Boost. So good. Just to show you guys, I'm going to go back to the original. And this is after. So good. So good. What else do I, and that's pretty much it. There are some good finishing brushes in this, but I do like the Tiny Dancer ones better. Yeah. And that's pretty much all on the Greater Than all. I use pretty much all of them, sorry. Yeah, I'm looking at them. Yep. That's pretty much it. So my main ones that I use are the Painterly Portrait collections. I would definitely get those as a bundle. It's worth the $10 difference. Definitely the Portrait Retouch collection, hands down, just for the eyelashes alone. If you shoot outdoors, I would say the Innocence is great. the Joy of Light, Light and Airy. That Joy of Light, I believe, is several different action sets, and it's definitely worth it. There's a lot of good outdoor actions in that also. Tiny Dancer, hands down, even if you're just going to use it for the Illuminate subject, and that background one is awesome. And that's pretty much my favorites. Yeah. So if you guys have any, I hope this was helpful. If you guys have any questions, always never hesitate to ask. Actions just make my life so much easier. They really do. And I don't know what I would do without them. Not even being dramatic, but I love them. I love them. I love them. So if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. It was fun. See you, Photo Fam. Let me know what you get in the comments below. Talk to you later. Bye.